Good evening. It is Tuesday, April 25th, and welcome to the Positional Sports Talk Show Post, live streaming on Facebook Live and our Positional Sports Talk Show YouTube channel. We are a sports talk show made for the fans, from the perspective of fans, presented by lifelong sports fans. We'll provide our opinions and positions on the hottest topics in sports this evening. We're doing a throwback show this evening, the original two. My name is Big Reg, and I'm joined by my brother, my partner, J3. What's going on, partner?
What's going on, Big Reg? What's up, fellas? What's up, listeners? What's good?
Man, we're going to do this thing. Let's talk it. We're going to give you a quick hits, and then we're going to get down and dirty on two big topics. We're going to give you an NBA playoff review and give you a little NFL draft preview and finish off the show with our final post of the evening. So as always, we appreciate you tuning in. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy Post on the Positional Sports Talk Show channel. I don't know if you caught it over the weekend, J3, because I know you're usually busy running around doing your things, helping the youth and all that good stuff. But Coach Prime and the University of Colorado sold out their spring game.
Isn't that something?
And the tickets weren't free. They weren't expensive. I think they charged like $15 a ticket. 45,000 plus people came to the stands to see their first spring game with Coach Prime and the new Colorado Bucks. But that wasn't it. The temperatures were below freezing, and they had snow flurries throughout the spring game.
I saw some of it. I was totally shocked. I'm like, what in the world? But then you look at Denver, that's what you expect. What you expect in November? I mean, in March.
Yeah.
That's April.
Yeah, April. Deep April. It's
right.
Crazy. Yeah, so I think if it wasn't for the fact that it was on ESPN, I think they might have actually delayed or postponed that game.
Yeah, but what does that tell you? What does that tell you about the appearance and the presence of Deion being there? That just shows you that he attracts people and he's gonna make money wherever he goes. Plain and simple.
I mean, just think about that. $450,000. Pardon me, $625,000 plus whatever they charge, if anything, for parking. And you know, people ate and drank.
Absolutely.
So they made a couple of $1 million for a spring game.
A spring game, not even a real game, a scrimmage.
And last year, they had less than 3,000 people in the stands.
Exactly. Deion, prime time. Coach Prime.
Yeah,
speaks for himself.
It's crazy. So shout out. And the media, tried to make a big deal that after the spring game, 17 players from Colorado got into the transfer portal. Yeah, those are the same players that Deion told when he first got there. Y'all need to go ahead and jump in the portal. So some of them stayed around to see if they could make it. And then after the spring game, realize where they are on the depth charts and all that, and they're trying to make moves. Just like it's happening in every other major college program around the country right now. But because it's Deion, they trying to make it a big thing. So
absolutely. And at least he was honest and upfront with them from the get-go. Yo, you ain't gonna get on the field. So you might as well go ahead and get in that portal.
Yeah.
Can't be mad at him.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what Colorado will do in the Pac-12 this year. All right, moving on. We can finally say it's done. So we don't have to talk about this guy anymore.
Oh my goodness, really?
Yeah, I'm glad it's over because I ain't want to talk about him. If they dragged this past the draft, it'd have been ugly. So the New York Jets and the Green Bay Packers finally finalized the deal to send quarterback Aaron Rodgers to the Jets.
Now the question is he going to make an impact? That's the question. Because they already got an offense, a powerful offense.
He's supposed to arrive in New York tonight. Get a physical, and I think they're supposed to have a press conference tomorrow. The key is going to be, is he going to stay there for the off-season program? Is he going to commit his time, or is he going to do it like the other recent off-seasons where he doesn't show up except for mandatory stuff? Because he's got to get in sync. Unlike Green Bay, the New York Jets offense is a very young offense.
Mm-hmm.
They got good receivers, but most of them are young, even though they added a couple of vets in there. Everybody's learning the new offensive system, with the exception of Rodgers, because they bring it in his offensive system. So he's got to help teach that. So it'll be interesting to see how committed he is to going all in. So
let me ask you this. By him being there, how soon or how long do you think it's going to take before he complains about the receivers when they stop dropping passes?
Oh, that's going to happen immediately. That's going to happen immediately. So, yeah, I understand the Jets are desperate. They had the longest playoff drought of any NFL team. I still don't understand why they chose Rodgers over trying to get Lamar, who's younger, who would have fit in better with the younger team, and they could have had for a longer period of time. But that's on them. That's on them.
Well,
so
you figure they probably didn't want to get him because they didn't want to pay him.
I hear you. But they're paying Rodgers. They're paying a 39-year-old. Now they're gonna renegotiate, move some money around on his contract. But Rodgers ain't giving up any of that money. Rodgers is under contract for Green Bay to make almost $60 million this year. Next year is supposed to be like 42. So he got $100 million, and I can't see him walking away from that. So how they move that around, I think they may just redo a contract, add some bogus years on it so they can stretch the money out. But Rodgers going to get his money.
That's terrible. That's terrible. You're right. Why would they get Rodgers when they could have had Jackson, a younger and more athletic player?
Yeah, that gets along with his teammates and willing to fully commit to his team. So, yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, true story. True story, BJ. True story. So the Packers holding ground. What they end up doing is the Packers wanted a first-round pick this year. Technically, they got it, but if you really looked at the trade, all they did was swap first-round picks this year. So the Packers moved up from number 15 to number 13, which is where the Jets are picking. So they just swapped the first-round picks. The Packers get a 2023 second-round pick, which is number 42 overall. But I think the Jets had 2 of those. And then they swapped a 5th and a 6th-round pick. So the Packers gave up a 5th-round pick and dropped down to the 6th round in this. And then, of course, the Jets get Rodgers. The Jets get the swap in the first round. They get the 5th-round pick. And next year's draft, the Packers will get a conditional 2024 second-round pick. And if Rodgers pays more than 65% of the Jets' offensive plays, then it'll get upgraded to a first. But I'm just glad it's over. We ain't got to talk about that. And we'll see if Rodgers still has it or was last year just a down year because he was injured part of the year and just done with Green Bay.
So do you think are the Packers going with Love now that Rodgers is gone?
Absolutely. Look for Love to have his 5th-year option picked up. I think they have until the 30th of this month to either exercise his 5th-year option or next year will be the last year on his contract. So now that you got rid of Rodgers, you go ahead and pick up that 5th-year option, which is going to be somewhere in the low to mid-20s, $20 million for a starting quarterback. That's cheap money in today's quarterback market. And this year, he's going to be making like $4 million. So if you factor that out, you're talking about $12 million, $12 to $15 million a year for Jordan Love. So we'll see.
Do you think Love is ready for all the attention that he's about to get?
We'll find out real quick. They have no other choice. They were ready to move on from Rodgers. And I think Rodgers was going to retire on him. And then Rodgers got wind that they have been talking to some people about possibly trading him. And then that's when Rodgers said, well, I'm going to come back. So it's time for a change. Hey, they had 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks back-to-back for the past 30 years. So time for a change. So shout out to the DC Defenders. Finished their first XFL season 9-1. Best record in the league. They'll host the Seattle Sea Dragons who were 7-3 this weekend in the playoff round. I believe their game is on Saturday. And then the Houston Roughnecks, who won the other division, 7-3, will host the Arlington Renegades in the other playoff round matchup. And the winners will meet next week in the XFL Championship in San Antonio. So
let me ask you a question real quick.
Yes,
by DC Defenders losing that one game, do you think that was a wake-up call, or do you think it was just a slip in their planning? Because they had the makings of going undefeated for the whole season. Do you think that one loss was worth it?
You never, I guess, the reason they lost that game is because they weren't focused and they underestimated their opponent, because the opponent they were playing hadn't won a game all year.
Correct.
So I would normally say that was a good loss and it was a wake-up call, but they haven't played well, even though they won 3 games after that.
Mm-hmm.
It's taken them to the last quarter, late in the fourth quarter, to eke out a victory, or even the last play. So they haven't been playing as dominant as they were in the beginning of the year. So, and most of that is because their defense isn't playing as well. So we will see. The issue is the Seattle Sea Dragons have the best offense in the XFL this season. So they're going to have their hands full with that. That defense is going to have to step up. Mm-hmm. And the offense, they're probably going to have to let Tamu play the entire game and not do that quarterback switching back and forth if they want a chance to win and get to the championship game.
Okay.
And Houston should beat the Renegades. The Renegades were only 4-6. They end up in the playoffs through a tie-breaking system, and that other division was terrible. The Defenders division, they were 9-1. The Sea Dragons were 7-3. The St. Louis Battlehawks were 7-3. So they by far had the best division of the teams.
Mm.
Got to give some love to the puck folks out there. The NHL playoffs, if you've been following, it's been fire. As Professor Jay would say, all 8 series are still going on.
Mm.
4 series are 3-1, so the better teams kind of, flex their authority, but they're still going on. The Boston Bruins lead the Florida Panthers 3-1. A surprise, the Toronto Maple Leafs are leading the Tampa Bay Lightning 3-1.
What?
The last 2 games went into overtime, but the Maple Leafs have figured out a way. Now, they've won 3 in a row. The big issue is the Maple Leafs have had game-clinching games over like the last 4 or 5 seasons and have lost every one. So are they going to be able to get over the hump? Because they've got a pretty good young team. You got the Hurricanes leading the Islanders 3-1. And then one of my favorite teams, the Las Vegas Golden Knights, they lead the Winnipeg Jets 3-1. The other four series are all tied 2-2. Probably the best series is the New York Rangers against the New Jersey Devils. So you got that Madison Square Garden, go over the bridge, you get to Jersey. Mm-hmm. So that's been a heated battle. And what's crazy about this series, the road team has won all the games.
That's interesting. So home crowd doesn't even matter.
No.
It's about who's showing up.
No. The Seattle Kraken are tied with the Colorado Avalanche. Everybody expected the Avalanche to kind of win that series pretty easily. The Minnesota Wilds and the Dallas Stars are tied. And lastly, Edmonton Oilers, with 2 of the best players in hockey, are still struggling with the LA Kings tied 2-2. So, yeah, some good playoff matches, and they'll probably only get better as the rounds go on. What's great is NHL hockey is on every night, whether it be on ESPN networks or on the Turner, TNT, TBS network. So if you like hockey, you can find yourself a good, appealing playoff matchup any day of the week. All right, let's talk about the big boxing match. Gervonta, a.k.a. Tank Davis. The big hype, build up for years. They made a big spectacle over the last 5 or 6 weeks. And I know it's fight promotion, so I understand that. But how they's going to knock each other's head off, how they's going to break each other's jaws, do all this. Tank beat Ryan Garcia, TKO, 7th round. Now, it was a beautiful counter shot to the liver. And as I've told y'all, serious body puncher, if he catch you more than once in the liver, that liver can shut your whole body off.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
My problem with this fight, and I picked Tank to win this. I thought Tank would do it at 8 or 9. So 7 was a little early. My problem with it, I don't know if you saw the fight or at least saw the highlights.
I saw the fight.
Tank didn't hit him with his best shot to the body. It was a quick stinger. He slipped a punch, rolled up under him, and bam! Quick left to the liver. But your boy Ryan Garcia,
he ran the whole fight, bro.
Yeah.
He ran the whole fight. I mean, after Tank hit him one time, I think after he got hit the first time, that was like, oh, I'm covering up and I'm just going to keep backing up the rest of the night. And that's all he did. I mean, he was never aggressive. And when Tank tagged him, yeah, say night.
Yeah, Tank caught him in a second. Again, with a counter punch. See, Garcia underestimated Tank's boxing acumen and what he could do counter punching. So he put him on his butt in the second round with a counter punch, caught him. But that liver shot, I've seen dozens of fights in because of that exact same shot. That's called the Mexican killer.
Yep.
Body shot, left hook to the liver. That's their thing.
Sis disagrees with what we're saying. He's saying that Garcia was too aggressive to him and he was going for the knockout too fast. I don't agree with that, bro. I mean, unless I was looking at a different fight, he was backing up more than he was going forward.
I think Garcia realized, again, after he got caught in that second round, that, I'm in over my head. So his only option to try to beat the fight was to try to hurt Tank, which he never really did. But my problem with Garcia is, again, when people get hit with that liver shot that stops a fight, one of 3 things happen. 1, they are writhing in pain on the canvas, rolling back and forth because or completely still and can't move because that shot has immobilized them. 2, they try to get up. And as soon as they try to get up, they go right back down because, again, that pain immobilizes them. 3, as soon as they hit, they wave off and say, I'm done. I don't want any more. Garcia did a 4th thing. He whipped that delayed reaction, which a lot of liver shots are. You think you're okay, then all of a sudden it hits you. He goes to a knee. Garcia's looking right at the referee. He watches the referee count to 10. As soon as the referee gets to 10, Garcia gets up.
Because he ain't want no more.
Then walks over to his corner.
He ain't want no more.
Yo, did he quit? I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
That's what it sounded like to me. And then he asked for Tank's number. Really? That's what we doing now?
Yeah. So the question is, Tank, you the biggest name probably in boxing other than Canelo right now. You proven that you one of the pay-per-view kings out there. Understood. But can you fight a legitimate champion now?
Haney?
Tank needs to either fight or put his name that he wants to fight either the winner of Haney Lomachenko, which is next month. You got a point there, BJ, but I'm not a professional boxer. A professional boxer who talked all that trash on how he's gonna break his jaw and all that, not supposed to quit. Or fight the real man. Haney's got the belt, so no disrespect. But I think Shakur Stevenson is the best boxer in that weight class.
But I don't think he want to fight him. I think. Yeah, I don't see that happening.
If he's not willing to fight one of those two guys,
I think he'll fight Haney before he'll fight Shakur.
Then it's all about the money and the way PBC's handling them. And I get props. He's making millions of dollars doing this thing, so he doesn't have to fight him. But if he wants to legitimately be seen as one of the best, it's time, Tank, to fight a legitimate champion. Because he's never held one of the top belts in any of the weight classes. He's had belts, but they've always been the regular or interim or junior belts, not the top belt. So, Tank, let's see you step up.
So if he did fight Shakur, who do you think will win?
I think Shakur outboxes him. I think Shakur is the best fighter at 135. Maybe the best fighter at 140 as well.
Better than Haney?
I think so.
Wow. Okay.
I think Shakur is such a great defensive fighter. And now that he's getting his man bones to him, because Shakur just turned 25, 26. Now he's getting his man strength. Now he's putting it on guys where he used to have to box and move around. He ain't got to do that no more. Now, he ain't going to stand in front of Tank. But I think he would stand in front of Devin Haney. I think he just outboxed Devin Haney.
Right.
And Devin Haney's a hell of a boxer. Probably the second best in the division. So, hopefully one of them happen.
Do you think Shakur will ever fight Haney?
I think so. That's the easiest fight to make since both of them are connected with ESPN and Top Rank. That's the easier fight to make.
But do you think we'll ever see it?
I think we'll see that the end of this year because I think Haney's body is not going to allow him to stay at 135 much longer. So the biggest fight for him, he wants to fight Lomachenko because Lomachenko ran from him for 3 years. So he's looking to try to put a beating on him. And if he beats Lomachenko, which I think he will, then the only other big fight at 135 is Shakur because I don't think that Tank's going to fight him. And then he can move up to 140 and try to unify the belts at 140.
That'll be real interesting to see. I hope we can see it.
I hope so too, partner. I hope so too. All right, man, let's talk about these NBA playoffs.
Woo! Where do we start from? First of all, let's talk about players that ain't playing.
Yeah, that's been the story of this first round so far.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, Professor J, I'm sorry, but because of that injury to Giannis, the Bucks in trouble. The Bucks are down 3-1 to the number 8 seed Miami Heat. And, okay, I can understand them losing game one because Giannis got hurt early in the second. They was a little discombobulated. But then they came back. The Bucks won game two easily.
You know what happened in game three? They got the big hit. They was up 12 points, and they let the damn lead slip. Why you up 12 points and then come down half court and shoot 3-pointers when you could have just been taking it into the daggone hole at every offensive play? That's just stupid. And then your coach don't call a timeout after they go on a 6, 8, or 10-point run. You don't call a timeout. You just gonna let them sit there and blow their lead away? You got out-coached, homie.
You hit it right there, J3.
Hey.
Eric Spoelstra severely outcoached Budenholzer for the Bucks. And he's been doing it all series with the exception of game two. And his guys just didn't have enough legs under him. Now, what Jimmy Butler did last night in game 4 was ridiculous, man.
Lack of defense on the Bucks. Lack of defense, plain and simple.
How you going to let one guy, when they already are missing their star shooting guard, Tyler Hero, who also got hurt in game 1, but then my DeMatha Stagg brethren, Victor Oladipo hurt his knee again in game 3. So they missing 2 of their best shooters. And you can't stop one guy? You let one guy beat you?
Well, let me just say this: as far as the Bucks go, literally, they did not run the offense like they should have, because you got Giannis bringing the ball down court, which I think is dumb as hell. Then you got Chris Middleton shooting anywhere anywhere he feels like on the court. He ain't shooting. Well, he was shooting 50% or more. However, I mean, you got 2 big guys, Lopez, and you got Giannis. Throw the ball down on the block. Why are you shooting threes when you don't have to, especially when you up? That just doesn't make any sense.
Man, play some defense. Make a stop. You got one guy killing you.
Right.
So now the Bucks are in trouble. They got to win 3 games in a row. And the way they've been playing defense, they're hoping Giannis will be better. Game 5 is tomorrow at 9:30 p.m. on NBA TV. But I think Jimmy Butler, the way he's playing it, I think Jimmy Butler can muster up another 40-plus point game. And if you get one more player to go with him, the Bucks in trouble.
Let me tell you something. Jimmy was tired. He was tired. I mean, gasping for air at halftime because he had damn near 25 points in the first quarter. He was tired, but I don't see him doing it again. So, like you said, somebody else is going to have to step up.
Yeah, he ain't got to get 56, but he can get high 30s to low 40s. And if somebody just come along, that could be enough to put the Bucks out of there, which would be major problems for that organization, because they got a new owner coming in, which is going to make Giannis a little leery about what's going to be going on. So that could change that whole dynamic of that franchise.
So let me ask you this. If the Bucks are out of it, who do you see taking the East?
Well, let's go to the second. Everything's lining up for the number 2 seed, the Celtics.
Boston.
They lead the Hawks right now 3-1. They're actually playing right now. Boston's up 9 points late, make it 11 points late in the third quarter. Look like they're trying to pull away. I think Atlanta was overmatched in the beginning, but especially now with DeJounte Murray, with that boneheaded thing he did. After they lose game 4, this fool walks over to a ref that he's been beefing with and intentionally bumps him and then cusses at him. So, of course, he gets suspended for game 5. So,
yep. Well, we all know that Atlanta was already over their head when they made the playoffs and playing Boston. They did get a game, and they should be happy they got one, but this series is over with. Tonight is it.
Yeah, but all the players on Atlanta are interviewing for a job, because remember, they brought in their coach. They fired their coach to begin the year, so they brought in their new coach, and he was using the end of the season and the playoffs to evaluate players. So now everybody is eligible to be traded, and they're going to totally redo that whole system. So all the fun that we thought Atlanta would be after Ice Trae, killed the New York Knicks 2 years ago is already done. So the number 3 76ers were the only high seed that did what they're supposed to do and sweep an inferior team. They swept the Brooklyn Nets, beat all 4. But their issue, again, we talking about injuries, J3. Joel Embiid hurts his knee late in game 3, doesn't even play game 4. They were able to close it out without him. But a 7-footer with a bum knee that's got to go 3 more rounds to win a title.
Ain't going to happen.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Ain't going to happen. However, let's just also say that the role players on the 76ers have stepped up, because Tobias Harris has been killing it.
Yeah, but only when Embiid's not playing.
Again, that's what I'm saying. Other players got to step up. Maxey, killing it.
Yeah, Maxey's proven that he's their second best player.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Maxey's the second best player. But the issue is their next round matchup they got to see the Celtics.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to take all hands on deck to deal with the Celtics. So.
Yep. Especially if the Tatum, the Jasons are doing what they doing like they doing now. Ooh, it's going to be a long series.
Yeah. The funnest series so far to me in the East has been the Cavaliers and the Knicks. Seeing the Knicks crowd energized, it's been real fun. The Knicks up 3-1. I thought the Cavaliers would give them a little more of a fight, but the last two games, the Cavaliers have collapsed in the second half.
And you know what the problem is? I think it's lack of experience because they haven't been to the big dance. They turning the ball over. They're not playing team ball. I mean, it's more or less ISO 101 instead of trying to get everyone involved. Right. And that's throwing their rhythm off.
Yeah, and Donovan Mitchell has stunk up the last 2 games.
Agreed. So, yep.
So, over in the Western Conference, the Denver Nuggets, they let a great opportunity slip by. They should have swept the Timberwolves, but they're up 3-1. Game 5's tonight, 9 p.m. NBA TV.
That series is over with.
Yeah, that series is over with.
It's over with. I mean,
they played with their food in Game 4 and allowed the T-Wolves to get a game on their home court. Shout out to Anthony Edwards, though. Anthony Edwards is balling, and he has stepped out into the forefront and said, I may not be the leader in the locker room, but when we get on this court, I'm the man for the Timberwolves from now on. Karl Anthony Towns, like you, but you secondary. I'm the man.
Agreed.
But the Joker and his boys are too much for him. And Jamal Murray looked like he's back. Looked like he's healthy again.
Ooh.
So
and don't sleep on Porter either, because Porter contributing as well.
Yeah, Michael Porter Jr. is doing his thing. So everybody was like, oh, the Nuggets going, whip out early in the playoffs again. Hey, sense. Nuggets look for real, partner. Nuggets look for real. Oh, Memphis Grizzlies.
Oh,
they starting to look like back in the day, every neighborhood had the medium-sized dog that made a whole bunch of noise, barked, but as soon as anybody actually came to him, it rushed up on him, ran away. Memphis Grizzlies looking like a whole lot of bark, no bite. And I mean, the Lakers were there for the taking. They stepped up the game. Ja Morant missed game 2, beat the Lakers, controlled that game. Ja's been back, and they haven't played as well since Ja's been back.
But it's not Ja's fault. Let me just say this real quick. If you paid attention to how they're actually contributing the ball, the shot selection that they're taking, Ja is dishing the ball out. But if they're not making shots, you can't blame that on him. And when he's on the court, he will take it to the hole. He will get assists. So it's like, okay, who else is going to step up and perform and produce?
Game 4, Ja Morant in the fourth quarter kept trying to take it to the basket and almost killed himself twice trying to drive over top of LeBron. Instead of making a smart play, either pulling up or going around him, he's going to go over top of him. So the Grizzlies at the end of the game, especially game 4, had some very not smart things going on. So it's interesting. But the Lakers tried to give that game away. What's up, Sense?
What's up, fellas?
What's happening?
It took your boy till the fourth quarter to show up, make 3 shots, and then he started missing again like he was doing all game. He tried to give the game away.
He did it when it counted, though. So let's.
But we got to call it both ways.
Yeah.
AD, while he played hard on the defensive end, he was non-existent offensively in game 4. And that's 2 games in a row. So
yeah. And that's what they were talking about on the after show, like how like it's like a seismograph with AD. It's like, you know, some games he's up, some games he's down. It's like you don't see a consistency with him, and it's like it's like the recurring theme. You got to figure out which AD you gonna get to determine whether you're gonna win or not.
Let me ask you this, Sense, and this is real talk. But when AD is on the court on offense, does it seem like he lost to you?
It seems sometimes that he doesn't like. Well, a lot of people argue that he lets he waits too much for the game to come to him rather than going out and saying, "Give me the ball," you know, and stand back. That's why it's like LeBron gets so frustrated because it's like I'm trying to like, dude, this is all yours. Like I'm about to be retiring soon. LA is yours. Do you want it? And then sometimes it seems like he doesn't. Like he's too scared to take it. And then like it's got to take LeBron putting that fire under his ass to be like, dude, come on, like, get aggressive. And then finally, when somebody's talking about him on a show or calling them street clothes, that's when he decides to ball. So sometimes, like, you know, an angry AD brings results.
So let me ask you this, because I know since you're a Lakers fan, right? Does AD remind you of Dwight Howard?
The only thing with a little bit, the only thing with Dwight sometimes, like he'll get serious, smile too much for my taste, but he like, you know, he's like a little too playful. But AD, he's just like, you know, AD more so just reminds me of, all right, what we gonna do? Okay, you want me to take the ball? All right. You know, it's like lackadaisical. Like
just go along to get along instead of
right
being the number one, which LeBron wants him to be. Because quite honestly, LeBron won that game, but if you were really analyzing the game from a middle of the road point of view, after the first quarter and a half, LeBron lost all his lift in his legs. You can see he didn't have that. Even when he was going by people, when he's going up for the shot, he didn't have that lift. So if you got a 38, 39-year-old that's got to carry the team, where you got the guy who's supposed to do that, so it's going to take the others.
Right.
You can't count on AD to show up.
And thankfully the others came through. And I liken this team to that 2020 team that won the championship. Like you had role players, people who knew their job, knew their role, and contributed, like, you know, when need be. Yeah, you had some off, you know, like sometimes when you were off, but when it came crunch time and when it mattered the most, they came through. D'Angelo came through. Reeves came through. Schroeder, while he wasn't shooting as well, he still came through with you know, like key like stops and all of that. So, you know, it was definitely a team win. AD, like, dude, I need you to score 30 and 30. Like, close this out in Memphis, man. Please, just close this out. Like, be aggressive so we can focus on the next task, man. Like, I'm tired of this inconsistency with AD.
Yeah, it would be best for them to try to close it out tomorrow in Game 5 to give Bron's a chance to rest a couple of days.
Absolutely. Like, so, they've already taken a game in Memphis. It's nothing for them to take another game in Memphis.
So we will see. Mm-hmm. The Warriors and the Kings has been the best series so far in the NBA.
Fire.
It's like the big brother looking at the little brother and the little brother saying, "Oh nah, we ain't just the little brother anymore. We brothers now. Mm-hmm. We gonna stop this little junior stuff. We here. We ain't scared. We ready to do our thing." But again, we gotta talk about injuries. Now he say he's gonna play Game 5.
Killed me, man.
But De'Aaron Fox, who arguably has been the best player in the playoffs, fractures the tip of his index finger on his shooting hand, his right shooting hand. That's going to that finger, control of the basketball, dribbling, shooting. That's that's your guide finger for shooting.
Yeah.
And that's also the first finger that you get hit.
Yeah. But reports say that he's going to play. He's playing tonight, like Game 5. He's going to play.
Yeah. The question is how effective he's going to be, because they need him to be full De'Aaron Fox, where he's giving Steph just as much as Steph is giving him.
So let me ask you this: if he doesn't play, do you see Monk or what's the other dude taking over? Who's the other guy? I can't remember his name.
You're on mute.
Since you're on mute.
Sabonis. You talking about Sabonis?
Yeah. Well, he's the center.
Wait, are you talking about Monk?
Not Monk, but the other guy.
Murray?
His name. Yeah.
Yeah, he finally had his coming out game, and I think he'll have a good game. But just think about it, it took everything that they had to beat the Warriors in those first 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
The Warriors in both of those games, and just Draymond gets kicked out late in the second game, and they fall apart defensively because they weren't expecting that. And then they just won the first game by 3 points. And so if they got any drop off with Fox can only give you 22 to 26 instead of mid 30s, that's going to be a problem. If they lose game 5, whoever wins game 5 wins that series.
It's going to take others for Sacramento to step up. Like they got a quality squad. You got Harrison Barnes still shooting at a high clip. You got Murray. You got role players that can definitely contribute. It's just going to take a collective effort.
Man, I'm telling y'all right now, if Klay Thomas and Jordan Poole get 20 plus points, it ain't even gonna be a competition.
It's over.
Yeah,
we see why Golden State let Harrison Barnes go years ago.
Absolutely.
Harrison Barnes had a almost wide open 3-point shot to end that game and bricked it.
But what's surprising is he actually acting like he won't play, but he wasn't doing that shit 5 years ago.
But here's the thing: just when you count Harrison Barnes off and you write him off, he comes back and does some heroic stuff to the team. I'm telling you, don't count Harrison Barnes out.
I hear you. We will see.
You.
Again, whoever wins game 5 is going to win this series, in my opinion. So, and then
the other LA. What I tell you, Clippers going flip.
Oh my goodness!
Flip.
Whew. That low management is something else, ain't it?
Yo, man.
Yo, like I said in my thing, if I'm Steve Ballmer, I'm gonna start like, hey man, I want my money back. I paid all y'all fools this money, and y'all ain't give me but so many games.
Yeah,
I mean, Kawhi can't even make it through a playoff series. He get ready to miss his 3rd straight game, fellas.
I think it's mental.
Why, if I'm Steve Ballmer, man, like you can't give me like anymore. How long has this been going on for? Like 4 seasons?
I think it's mental. I think it's mental.
But he gave him the extension. They got to try to trade Kawhi, but who's going to take Kawhi?
Right, who's going to take?
So they just in a tough spot. But the Suns are also in a tough spot because, they won 3 in a row. They up 3-1. KD, long 42 minutes. You got
Booker.
Devin Booker, 45 minutes a game.
Mm-hmm.
They got CP3 up in 38 plus a game.
Mm-hmm.
They only playing like 7 guys.
But whose fault is that? Whose fault is that?
They had to trade away a bunch of their main role players to get KD there.
Yep.
And I guess the coach staff never developed enough
of
the other guys to get them ready. But they can't survive getting through the Western Conference playing all these heavy minutes, much less winning a title.
What did I tell you? The loss of Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson, your 2 defensive stalwarts, was going to come back and bite you in the butt.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly right now.
So the way this is setting up, because of the injuries, I think we're going to have to put some respect
on Denver,
on them Denver Nuggets, because it's setting up for the Nuggets to make it to the finals. Because I don't think the Suns can get past the Nuggets only playing 5, 6, 7 guys. I think the Nuggets
up and down the court.
Got enough length with Gordon and, like you said, Junior playing that they can do enough to slow down KD and the guards, and it's lining up. And if God help everybody in the Western Conference. If Golden State gets past this round,
We face hopefully the Lakers. Lord.
Golden State against the Lakers is a very interesting game because AD's got the size, but he doesn't play big enough to take advantage of the smaller team, and they definitely can't shoot like Golden State can.
They want to come to Jesus moment with AD.
Not only that, but you got to look at the bench. We all know that they're going Golden State gonna go 12 deep if they have to.
Yeah.
I mean, can the Lakers go?
Across that bench, we got a bench too.
Right, but how many players are actually going to play?
I don't know.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting. So we'll see how these series end this weekend. And round 2 gonna be really, really juicy because give Golden State a little momentum. They be like, oh, maybe we can repeat. So
real quick about going back to the Clippers, like, do you think Westbrook has, to BJ's point, has redeemed himself enough to get a good deal, to get a better deal and stay with LA?
If they're gonna pay him, yeah.
Ballmer's not gonna pay him. Because Ballmer got 2 guys that he already paying a whole bunch of money that can't play.
So what would you do in his shoes? Would you keep Westbrook or get rid of one of the 2 that ain't playing?
I keep Westbrook. At least I know what I'm going to get out of Westbrook.
And what you going to try to trade Kawhi and take pennies on the dollar for Kawhi if you can trade him? The only other asset is you trade Paul George, so you're going to have Kawhi and Westbrook.
Yeah. But
he stuck with a rock and a hard place.
See, that don't even make sense. See?
Maybe if I'm Steve Ballmer, I just blow it up.
Yeah. Westbrook's a free agent, so let Westbrook go, trade Paul George, buy out Kawhi, and start all over.
You got a new arena.
Getting ready for the new arena. Absolutely. Some quick kudos in the NBA. We got to shout out De'Aaron Fox, who got the inaugural NBA Clutch Player of the Year award.
Well deserved.
Celtics Malcolm Brogdon won the Sixth Man of the Year award.
Well deserved.
Utah's Lauri Markkanen got the Most Improved award, and he was part of that move that ended up sending the guard to Cleveland. So it worked out for both teams on that one.
Donovan Mitchell.
Thank you. Orlando's Paulo Pacharo, Rookie of the Year, and that was kind of a no-brainer. And the biggest award last week, Mike Brown named Coach of the Year for the second time. The first one was with the Cavaliers. But not only did he win Coach of the Year, he was the first ever unanimous winner. He got all the votes. So shout out to Mike Brown.
Well deserved.
So keep abreast of your NBA right now. The Celtics are still up 11, doing their thing. So
with ease too. That's the bad part about it.
And
looks like Atlanta getting ready to lay down. All right, before we get out of here, let's talk a little bit about this NFL draft. And I told y'all it was line season. I told y'all be aware of news reports that you hear now. One thing I really got to jump on, this articles and this report, and they've been bouncing for the last 10 days about this new S2 test that's been around for about 5 or 6 years. And what they're doing to CJ Stroud with this test is a shame. First of all, these tests, these results of these tests should never be leaked out. I think it's a team that's trying to get CJ Stroud and knows that he wouldn't fall to them the normal way. So I think they leaked the information that he had a terrible score. And even though I've heard rumors, thanks Professor J, that he retook the test and scored significantly higher. But the way this S2 test, BJ, it's like a cognitive ability test. It's supposed to test how quick you process things. And for an NFL quarterback, that's their biggest thing. From the time you snap the ball, can you read the defense after the defense adjusts, make the right read and get the ball to the right place in a quick matter in less than 3 seconds. So they're killing him, saying his cognitive ability isn't as quick, and that nobody who scored anywhere close to him has been successful in the NFL since they've started this test. So it's a shame what they do, especially the black quarterbacks.
I was getting ready to say, and they only picking on him out of all the quarterbacks that's in the draft. They're only picking on him.
Yeah. Bryce Young, of course, they couldn't do anything about them because Bryce Young comes from two educators and who also into mental health and psychologists. So he scored off the charts, which I've been saying to anybody who wants to listen. Bryce Young's best ability is from his neck up, not from his lower body, even though he's a small dude. So right now, the top quarterbacks in the draft, you've got Bryce Young, Alabama, CJ Stroud, Ohio State, Will Levis, who's, again, getting a lot of hype again lately. Will Levis, of all the top 5 quarterbacks, is the only white quarterback, played for Kentucky. Now, that's SEC team, but he had a horrible season this year.
They predicted him to go to Tennessee.
Yeah, so, again, somebody pushing a narrative.
Talking about pushing Tannehill out.
Yeah. You also sleeping on Anthony Richardson still. You gotta give him his props.
I was getting ready. I'm one finished top 5, and you got Anthony Richardson. And I think the second best quarterback possibly in this draft, but because he got injured last season near the end of the season, and the fact that he's 25, even though quarterbacks are playing into their late 30s, Hendon Hook out of Tennessee.
Oh, Hendon Hook.
4 to 5 top quarterbacks are all black.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what the Commanders do. Like, I really feel that they need, they still need a quarterback. I would just love for them to see pick up a lineman, and especially, and I know you're gonna get to this list, but shout out because he's a Curl alum. Mr. Anton Harrison out of Oklahoma.
Oh, you're talking about the tackle?
Tackle, yeah.
Yeah. So after quarterback, the next biggest position group offensively that people say are real good are like wide receiver and the tight ends. In the wide receiver draft, you got Jackson Smith and Jigba out of Ohio State. He was hurt most of last year, so you really didn't see a lot out of him last year. But the season before that, he was the best wide receiver on the field. You got Jordan Addison, who played last year with USC, but before that was at Pitt, who won the Biletnikoff Award for the best wide receiver. Quentin Johnson out of TCU, Jonathan Mingo out of Ole Miss. Tennessee has 2 wide receivers, Jalen Hyatt, who destroyed Alabama, and Cedric Tillman, both guys who can run, who have size to them. Jaden Reed out of Michigan State, so it's a good wide receiver draft. Tight ends, they say it's the deepest tight end crop, with the elite being Dalton Kincaid out of Utah, Michael Meyer out of Professor J's Notre Dame. You got Luke Musgrove out of Oregon State, Darnell Washington. If you haven't seen this dude, he's a freak. He's like 6'8.5", 260 pounds, but can run. Played for Georgia last year, and Sam Laporta out of Iowa. All Iowa does is make great tight ends. So you got a good group. And then, of course, you got your offensive tackles. Because they got to protect the quarterback, offensive tackles going to go early. So arguably the best is either Peter Skoronski out of Northwestern, Paris Johnson out of Ohio State, Broderick Jones out of Georgia, your boy Anton Harrison out of Oklahoma. Even though Oklahoma had an off season, he had a pretty good year, and Darnell Wright out of Tennessee.
Another good one.
Yeah. On the defensive side, who's going to be the first defensive player taken? It should be Jalen Carter, if I'm being honest. The defensive tackle out of Georgia, who in the sophomore season was the best defensive lineman for Georgia, but he wasn't draft eligible. And they had 3 defensive linemen drafted in the last year from Georgia. Then you got Kalia Cansey Most people have never heard from him. He plays for Pitt. He's an Aaron Donald clone, coming out of the same school, doing the same type of things from defensive tackle. So keep that name in mind. Or will it be Will Anderson, outside linebacker, DN, depending on who drafts him out of Alabama. Georgia's got a great linebacker, Nolan Smith. You got Will McDonald out of Iowa State and B.J. Ojolari out of LSU. The LSU linebackers can run for days, always good. Jack Campbell, if you're looking for an inside linebacker, Iowa's kind of the consensus number one guy. Cornerbacks, everybody loves corners. Everybody's big on Christian Gonzalez out of Oregon. He's like 6'3", 6'3" corner.
Yeah, I've heard him.
With a wingspan, I think, like 6'7".
Wow.
That can run. So, you also got Joey Porter Jr.
I was just about to ask.
Out of Penn State. Yeah. Daddy's little boy, not as big as Daddy, but he can tackle, he can hit, and he can cover. Devin Witherspoon out of Illinois is another name to look out for, as well as Manuel Forbes. And right here from the DMV area, Deonte Banks out of the University of Maryland can ball. He's going to be a good corner in the right system for anybody. And last but not least, the safeties. Teams like Philadelphia Eagles need to replace their safeties. Brian Branch out of Alabama is the consensus number one safety out there. But you got some other good players. Sidney Brown, Illinois, Jair Brown of Penn State, Jatavius Martin out of Illinois, and the other Alabama safety, Jordan Battle. So you got some big players. Draft starts Thursday. First round's Thursday, 8 p.m. Who y'all looking forward to seeing who goes where?
I would love to see Bryce Young get taken number one by the Panthers, which I think is going to be like the number one pick. I see Bryce. And I like what?
I was going to say, I like to see the homeboy from Maryland get picked up too. Banks.
Yeah. It'd be nice. Like, it's just, I want to see, the Commanders, hate to keep talking about the Commanders, but I know the Commanders have a glaring need for both, like, corner and offensive line. I'll be curious to see who they take first with that 16th pick.
BJ, if the Steelers can continue to fix that offensive line, I think the Steelers got everything else on offense. They got two good running backs. Mm-hmm. They got the wide receivers. Y'all continue to develop wide receivers. Whoever develops wide receivers in Pittsburgh, everybody need to have them come teach them classes, because they, no matter who they lose, they always end up with a nice wide receiver group. So, and then all you got to do, you got a tight end, so they just need to fix that line, and their defense is always good. So, we will see what's going on there. J3, anybody besides the Maryland kid you looking forward to seeing where they go?
Curious to see how far Strauss goes, as well as Bryce Young.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if he drops, and if he drops, how far he drops, because of, this craziness about this S2 score. It's a shame, because they don't realize they're costing these players millions of dollars that they'll never get back. So, yeah, enjoy the draft this weekend. Again, starts Thursday, first round, second round's Friday, and then you got the rest of the drafts on Saturday. Second and third round is Friday. Then the rest of the draft, 4th through 7th is Saturday. So, shout out. I'm sure that Kansas City, Missouri is going to put on a big show like everybody's been doing. So, that should be a good thing. And shout out to the delayed game guys. I know I think they leave out tomorrow. They go to all the drafts. So, good luck, safe travels, fellas. Enjoy the drafts, and y'all can give us a breakdown next week of what y'all thought about the drafts.
For sure.
Georgia quarterback. Who just hired the Georgia offensive coordinator? That would be the Baltimore Ravens. Don't be surprised if Stetson Bennett is drafted by the Ravens.
That would be interesting.
Truly.
That would be real
and give him a
interesting.
chance to start.
Since they ain't trying to pay Lamar. That would be real interesting.
Continues.
Yeah, so. All right, folks, it is time for us to get up out of here. But before we do that, we got to give you our final post. J3, why don't you start us out?
Yeah, real quick. I just want to give a quick salute to all our first responders. You all do a phenomenal job and you don't get recognized enough. Salute.
Good one. Good one. I'm right there with you. Sense, what you got for us?
I just want to give a shout out to M.A. Udoka, given a second chance to coach the Houston Rockets. I think that's going to be a great fit. You know, you got a lot of young, hungry talent there, and just needs the right person to mold them and then to hone that talent. So, great move.
Yeah, and that's a good move. Give them structure, teach them how to play defense. Just as long as the owner doesn't try to bring James Harden back to Houston. They don't need that. They don't need that. Let them young boys continue to develop, get some good veterans to help them with it, and let Emmy build that program. I agree with you, Sense. I just like to say, folks, enjoy. Baseball's going on. Football technically is going on, but you got the draft, one of the biggest sports events of the year this week. You got the NHL playoffs in full drive. All the series are great. And the NBA playoffs is on fire. So enjoy the sports. Enjoy the time. And we will get back with you next week to tell you what we thought about the draft, who we thought did well, who we thought did poorly, who dropped or shouldn't have dropped. And as always, we appreciate you. So thank you for tuning in and listening. Again, we appreciate the time and opportunity to share our positions on sports with you. We're here each and every Tuesday, 8 p.m. for our live show. You can also download this show and previous shows via our Facebook page, our YouTube channel, or listen to us on your favorite podcast platform. Just put in Positions on Sports Talk Show. Please like and subscribe. Subscriptions are free. We greatly appreciate it. Again, we'll see you next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Enjoy the draft. Enjoy the playoffs. Peace.
See ya.